Welcome back, everyone. I'm John Dalton. Joining me back alongside is Matthew Malkin. Kevin Boss has jumped to the rescue on the broadcasting duties for us today. Jesse Lee's internet, unfortunately, surpassing us in that one. And we're back live, of course, on both Twitch and YouTube. Thanks for sticking with us today as we bring you the final dying kind of 10 minutes of the race. Out front is still Bastian Richter in the number 71 Renault Velten entry. Quite a healthy lead at the moment over Lewis Fleischer, 13.5 seconds at the last timing gate. We then got Sam Gaskell 9.5 seconds back in the number 45 car. And we then got Valentin Barrier on the chase, 5.1 seconds to the good on that one. And behind him, Philip Breakster in the RCI Bentley, looking very competitive in these late stages. Abdulaziz, meanwhile, 6.2 seconds back after the penalty earlier on. Walsingham, 4.7 seconds back. And then we find ourselves at this fight here. McWilliam and Lucas Congratel in the number 49. Something, though, in between our broadcaster going out and coming back. Niels Klinkmuller has slipped down to P10 as well. So it's all changed. We thought it was all kind of done, settled and dusted. And just like that, Matt, the magic of endurance racing, it's all flipped on its head once again.
Oh, it certainly has. It's just been one of those times where action is all over the place. I'm just currently watching the back of Barrier and Breccia on this. They've been closing in for quite a while now. There's 2 times set between them at this point there. So it's an intense battle here for the possible podium position here. So with the RCI Esports for the Bentley, it's certainly got the legs to catch up on the Aston, and Breccia has a much better advantage on the slightly drying conditions here than it is. It's almost at the back of him, of the Aston Martin there, almost tapping the back of it, of its bumper. So going into the last final part of the stages, their tires are going to be hot, the brakes are going to be hot as well. Everything is on the line here for the RCI and the Vezirek Esports group here. It could go either way here, John.
Yeah, Barrier looking super competitive at the moment. We know how well the Aston does in these wet conditions, although on the flip side, Bentley kind of core tyre temperature overall, although it looks very big and very menacing, it actually looks after its tyres very well. The temperatures stay quite low over a stint as well, and in a qualifying session, it takes a few laps to really get into its stride to really set the fastest lap. So it's going to turn around eventually. Of course, the rain is subsiding. Top right-hand side of your screen getting less in the next 10 minutes, kind of stopping in the next 30, but you can kind of ignore that stage now. So everybody is locked in, with the exception of Sam Gaskell, we reckon, towards the checkered flag here at the moment. And Bridgester is trying to find some real estate for that Bentley. Got it all crossed up at the end of the hanger straight and just breathing down Barrier's neck. But, you know, Matt, Valentin Barrier has been around the circuit, the esports circuit and Silverstone quite a lot. So if anybody can absorb all of this pressure, I'm sure Valentin Barrier is probably a capable pair of hands at the moment.
You can't certainly deny that he has the talent and the skill to keep going on to the end. Track position is crucial on here, as with many other drivers here, with McElvin in the CRT Pro, currently holding off the Coach Dave Academy car for P15, but again, he's got that 10-second penalty from when he did his collision earlier on, so that's going to push him back just a little bit amongst the group here. Maybe it's not worth fighting against the others, but for himself anyway, he'll be wanting to do it as a matter of just getting it on merit.
Yeah, absolutely. So, of course, Bukovkin will be offset 10 seconds when the checkered flag comes out. So that should, in theory, push him down to P17 behind Hansen if he doesn't get a move on very soon. Gutslav, of course, 14 seconds back. That's way out of the realm of opportunity. Meanwhile, back towards the fight at hand for the bottom step of the podium. Bridgester still not finding a way past Valentin Barrier in these first couple of sectors, but again, just under 10 minutes on the clock, 7.5 minutes nearly to be precise. There's a bit of traffic on the horizon as well. That's another 2 cars fighting for position. That's the number 20 Ferrari, and it looked like one of the Brabham Esports cars. That's going to be Stefan Trineski in the number 62, and Traffic giveth and traffic taketh away. Let's see the roll of the dice here, how this one goes. I'd say, imagine, Matt, traffic that's fighting for position. A lot of the time they're locked in their own zone. They're kind of not watching their mirrors maybe as much as they should be, and suddenly there's another fighting duo on their tail as Bregster goes for the long way around into Brooklyn's not able to do anything. Valentin Barrier on the favoured side of the corner, and again the outside will become the inside for the next corner. So Bregster's thinking a few turns ahead when he comes into Brooklands, and back towards the start finish line they go. There'll be about 3 or 4 laps remaining of this race at roughly 2 minutes a lap, and Szymanski finds himself behind Makovkin, and Naudi is now the cork in the bottle in this train. Up the inside goes Makovkin. Naudi doesn't really fight too much, but needs to cover off the Coach Dave Academy Ferrari that could soon be up the inside, and we've seen Makovkin try the outside here before. He got very loose in front of another Mustang earlier. Does he keep it on the straight and narrow? He does this time by, but the grunt of the Mustang alongside Naudi should bring him back in towards the Brooklyn section. Szymanski has a little look, thinks the door's going to be open for him as well, and tries to point that Ferrari towards the inside, but Makovkin goes for the old outside to inside trick, tries it. Naudi's got good drive.
Oh, he's tapped the Mustang. He's sliding a little bit.
Small contact between the two, and Makovkin comes back out in the sandwich, and look who's joined the fight. It's Lightning McQueen. No, it's not. It's Hansen in the number 74 at the back of the train as well. This is about to become a 4-way fight for P14. Just over 5.5 minutes on the clock, Matt.
Definitely is a great battle here. With, again, it's all on merit for these guys here. It's trying to get to every single point that they can get, but they're leaving themselves enough space here, trying to keep themselves nice and clean, nice and tidy as they go through the Maggots and Beckett section here. As they see Hutchison side by side around the edge, forcing off the Ferrari into the gravel trap there. That's going to be a little bit of a disadvantage for the Ferrari there, but with 5 minutes remaining, all can still be at play to secure even just that 21st position here. We go into Saita for low fuel motorsport in the back of the other Mustang there. It's Mustang on Mustang action, but it's, again, with this car having very similar characteristics to each other, it's going to be difficult to get past, but it seems like Saita is able to get around on the outside there. But as soon as you go on the outside, it's going to be difficult down there. But Hansen, again, off of getting through towards the Coach Dave, and once we go through to there, as we can see, as Kevin's going to get a replay for us here, just to see the overtake on the Coach Dave. Seems to go on the outside line, but once it's on the outside, you go on the inside line there. A little bit of door banging on towards the Coach Dave car there. So a little bit of hard racing there, John. So I want to see your opinion on that one.
Yeah, a bit of a forceful move, I'd say, from Hansen. He knows the clock is ticking, time is running out. Of course, Makovkin is just ahead, so that's going to be a bonus position that Hansen essentially hasn't got to work for. And Makovkin really has to get past Naudi to try and extend his lead up the road as they come into Brooklands line of stern. Nobody looking for the move at the moment. Naudi's tyres probably going to be crying in the Mustang during these late stages. The Aston Martin's certainly looking a little bit quicker as we cast our eye back towards the front end of the grid. This fight's still very much alive. They've negated the two Ferraris in the background, Trineski and the number 20 in there. They were fighting overall as well for position. So that was essentially that's the fight for P27 in the background, getting involved with the fight, for P3 essentially. We're expecting the number 45 Aston to come down the lane. I think they already have. They have Sam Gasly down to P7 on that one. So this is, as you said, Matt, this is for the bottom step of the podium at the moment. And 3 minutes on the clock, 2 minutes roughly a lap. The race leader is just crossing the start-finish line. So that'll be the next lap and one more, I think, before we'll see the checkered flag. And riding on board with Philip Bregster from his point of view out through the windscreen, just not close enough to get a move up the inside of that Aston. But see there, the steering wheel inputs, it's a bit treacherous, it's damp. The tyres are at their worst they'll be. The cars are at the lightest they've probably ever been during this race as well. So everything is fighting against these drivers, but Valentin Barrier is still able to claw onto that position. Overall, I can only imagine Jardier is going to be nail-biting his way through these final few laps watching this.
I'll be sure that he'll be screaming and giving a whip to make him go faster there, John. But again, he's holding on as much as he can, because with the amount of talent, the amount of skill that these drivers have, you need to have those pressures under control here. But with this, Philip Breccia has been at the back of him for so long now. At some point, a mistake is going to be made between one of those two drivers there. Whether it's a multitude of the mistakes being made by either driver, who knows what it will be. But it's been an absolute amazing battle here for the bottom step of the podium as they go towards Stowe.
It's been an amazing battle and an amazing race, despite the technical difficulties in the middle. It's kind of split the strategy very nicely indeed. Allowed for some dry running as well when we got back underway at the 3-hour mark. And see, Matt, you've been here for much longer than me, and the race start looks certainly very exciting from what I was watching. A late pit stop coming in from the number 32, though, Szymanski down the lane. That's going to be a miscalculation on driving time, I can only imagine, because the Ferrari is relatively conservative on its fuel. Your race leader coming through the final corner now, not going to be far away enough to lift off before the line. So this is going to go one more barrier, slides out into the village section. That is a good opportunity. Bracer tries to find his way around the outside. Barrier parks it perfectly on the apex, and they will go once again, one final time. Of course, the white flag is essentially out for your race leader. Final lap coming up at the moment, 45 seconds on the clock, so it's kind of do or die, isn't it, at the moment for the 769. They need to get past Barrier to try and get onto that bottom step of the podium, but Barrier is just absorbing all the pressure. And one more time around the circuit, it's going to be 2 minutes 8 or so. It's going to be the longest 2 minutes 8 of Valentin Barrier's life, I can only assume, with that Bentley breathing down his neck. But across the line they will go towards Cops, covering off the inside already, foreseeing a move from Bracer. He's fired up, he's ready, he wants to get this move done and gets a better drive off the corner there. Barrier ever so slightly wide, side by side now into Maggots and Beckett's they will go. Bentley on the outside becomes the inside, and space was given. That's respectful racing, and both drivers survive onto the hangar straight as the clock hits 0. This is it now. This is the final lap for these two guys, and I think Barrier, providing he doesn't make a mistake, Matt, just about has this one in the bag.
He might do, but you're seeing that the cracks are starting to show. There is mistakes starting to peel through. A little bits of sliding here and there, a little bit of out braking points as well. You saw from turn 1 at Cobb's corner, he took the inside line, but that completely sacrificed his speed going through into the likes of Maggots and Beckett's here, side by side, going through in towards the hairpin there. Let's see what's going to happen here. A little bit, very close action there from both the Bentley and the Aston here. It's absolutely astonishing with just how close they're still going to keep to each other without any sort of contact or anything. It's racing at its peak here.
Yeah, certainly racing at its peak. And speaking of peaks, it is your race leader coming through the penultimate corner. We don't want to kind of cast our eye away from the fight of Barrier and Bracer all too much, but Bastian Richter and the lineup in that Renvelten car, including Groenewold and Huben, will take another victory here in the RCI 6 hours IMB of Silverstone. Fantastic drive there, but quickly back to the action here. It's do or die. There's 2 corners left. Philip Bracer tucking into the slipstream of Valentin Barrier. This is it. This is the last chance he's going to get. He looks not late enough on the brakes, not able to get the overlap. Valentin Barrier has maybe done just enough. Bracer looking to the inside. It's almost a kind of reconstruction of the early touring car days between John Cleland and Steve Soper, and Valentin Barrier does just enough to hold on to the bottom step of the podium. RCI Esports comes through in 4th, and not forgetting, of course, the Veloce number 55 of Lewis Fleischer and Luke Whitehead. They will take the 2nd step of the podium. Abdulaziz comes through in P5. Walsingham and Boothby will make it a P6. Sam Gaskell, very kudos to him. Bit of a misjudgment on the stint timer, but P7 is good enough. Andrew McWilliam managing to fend off Niels Klinkmuller in the end, got past him between the break that we did have in the broadcast. So Williams will come through with a top 10 finish. That's going to be a good mood setter for the rest of the championship as the 777 crosses the line. Plenty of drivers, of course, finishing as well down the latter half of the field. Niels Klinkmuller will round out P9. Marco Lomi done just about enough for P10, although a late drive-through penalty for that one. And Lomi's in the pit lane trying to serve the drive-through penalty, I
It
think.
won't matter.
Hansen comes across the line. I think it's too late. He can't drive through the lane. The checkered flag comes before pit exit. So Makovkin down 10 seconds, but Lomi and Felipe flipped on their heads. That's a plus 30. That's going to sort itself out when we get towards the final finishing car, which should be, in theory, Oystein Brennan down in the number 1 West competition car. Matteo Naldi fends off into P17. Orlando Rates for the number 72. Ren Velton comes through. Jade Hutchinson for the Samantha Tan car. Very unfortunate there. Home of Sim Racing Esports, they come through in P19. And Oystein Brennan for West Competition Racing will be your final car, I believe, to cross the line overall. And a fantastic race from everybody involved. 41 cars started, 36, I believe, have taken the checkered flag. And the order is shuffled once again, Matt. Just as we think it's all done and settled, late penalties coming through from the 201 and the 202 will shuffle them down to P15 and P17 retrospectively. That promotes Hansen up into P10. Congratel gets a P11. Makovkin keeps P12, even with the 10-second penalty. And that is your final results on the screen at the moment. Of course, pending any further stewards' inquiries that are going on. But, Matt, it's a fantastic race at Silverstone, as always. The mixed weather has provided for some excellent battles and some slightly strange strategy calls at times. But even still, 37 cars taking the checkered flag and a few DNFs there at the bottom, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that does happen, but again, we saw a great race from everybody here today, and everybody should just get a pat on the back from what they've accomplished today. It's definitely been one of those things.
So it's been a fantastic race, and some late technical difficulties still plaguing us here. But final results on your screen, of course, of Ren Velton, number 71, taking the overall victory here today. And we've not really found time to thank them, but a big thank you, of course, to everybody at home that has joined us and bared with us during these tricky times, and of course all the teams and drivers today as well with the server issues that we have unfortunately sufficed. But a big thank you as well to our partners. They were revolving around in the bottom right hand side the bottom left hand side even, sorry, of the screen for the previous 6-7 hours of our broadcasts. And of course, AK Esports on number 1 basically here, always with us along the way since the early days of RCI. Fantastic to have them on board. They offer everything from equipment, high performance hardware, coaching, event management, and of course our server solutions here at RCI. Go Setups, who need no introduction. I'm sure everybody knows who they are by now, providing expertly crafted car setups tailored to help you get the most out of your racing experience in titles such as Assetto Corsa and, of course, Assetto Corsa Competizione. I can only assume they will be taking over Assetto Corsa Evo as well, and that comes, of course, in 2025. Early access begins January, from what we're told at the moment. Moser Racing, a new partner for us here at RCI during 2024, who we're thrilled to partner with. Again, I'm sure everybody watching knows exactly who Moser are, but a leader in high quality sim racing gear, from precision engineered steering wheels right out to, of course, pedals, advanced wheelbases, and lots of exciting products coming along their way as well. And of course, not forgetting IMB Racewear, who sponsor our community series, and of course today's race, the IMB 6 Hours of Silverstone, providing fully custom designs to allow sim and real life racers as well to make the impact that they've always wanted in their merchandise, apparel, whichever you want to call it. From gloves to socks to jackets even, you can be sure that every piece is crafted with precision, style and performance in mind, giving racers the confidence to stand out both on and off the track. And that does, of course, conclude the partner segment. Matt, it's been brilliant racing from the beginning right up until now. Of course, Van Velten will extend their championship lead as they go towards Watkins Glen. It's kind of all to play for still in these early stages of the series.
Yeah, definitely is. There's still plenty of rounds for everybody to gain plenty of points. I mean, you saw how flipped well, not the standings, how the results were with all the teams. People might have not done well in Kyalami have done really well here. I think for everybody, it's all to play for going into the next few rounds. So I'll be excited to see what everybody else is going to be up to for next month's Watkins Glen for round 3.
Yeah, of course, Watkins Glen is where we'll take you for round 3. That's on November 9th. Server begins 11 a.m. UK time. And of course, the broadcast will begin not too far after that. So we'll bring you all the action as it stands next month. Of course, on the RCI calendar at the moment, Saturday Night Owl. Sign-ups are still available. We're taking a hiatus for this weekend. We're back next weekend. I think it's the 19th off the top of my head as we head to Zandvoort. And Kevin Boss reminded me it's not Night Owl, it's of course Night Owl, as Jesse Lee would say if he was here with us. Of course, a big thank you, like I said, to all the partners, to everybody at home and all the teams and drivers that have made this possible, and of course RCI along the way as we've been on this journey. There is a one-off endurance rumored in the pipeline, so keep your eyes on the website racerci.com for when signups go live. Of course, you can find all of our links down below to various social medias, the Discord and the website, and of course, all of our partner links as well. Plenty of iRacing coming up in the pipeline. That's going to be another thing that's being talked about quite a bit. I've seen a few promo images kicking about, so that should all be announced relatively soon as well. But it's been fantastic having you guys with us for the last 6 hours or so. We appreciate each and every one of you for bearing with us during these tricky times. But from myself, John Dalton, from, of course, Matt Malcolm alongside me, Kevin Boss, who we had earlier on, and, of course, Jesse Lee as well. We thank each and every one of you, and we hope to see you very soon on RCI TV. Take care.